Our first character today is Mario. No. He's certainly a video game character. I'm putting him in S tier, but partially that's out of obligation. Miyamoto's still haunting me after that Pikmin video. Originally, Mario was conceptualized as a character who could be placed in any game. And well, look at this series. I think they were successful at doing that. He doesn't go above and beyond in terms of characteristics or vocals or anything like that, but he's an icon of the industry, so you get a free S tier. Congratulations. Donkey Kong, Mario's first villain, and you'd never be able to tell by this derpy little face. For similar reasons, being an icon and legend of gaming, I kinda have to put him in S tier. Not only is he a legend, he went on to spawn his own game series, which itself spawned spin-offs, most of which are good. I said most. And finally from this game, we have Pauline. Now look, I'm a big Pauline fan personally. I always felt bad she got sidelined by Peach and Daisy for decades. Recently, she's had a pretty big resurgence though, by being a main character in Mario Odyssey as the mayor of New Donk City, and even finally got added to some spin-offs. For not being super prominent though, overall, I'll just give her an A. From Game & Watch Donkey Kong, I know it's everyone's favorite game, meet Mini Donkey Kong. No, not Diddy Kong, not Donkey Kong Jr., Mini Donkey Kong, D tier. Of course, we have the titular character, Donkey Kong Jr., and you know, this might be the most neglected Mario character of all time. He literally was in Super Mario Kart and in some spin-offs, and then one day Nintendo was like, yeah, we're actually gonna pretend like nobody loves you. He recently made an appearance in Mario Kart Tour, but only has like a 16-bit form, and also, ew, Mario Kart Tour. I'm giving him a B tier. He's a good character, but for whatever reason, Nintendo does not agree. Snapjaws, they remind me of those Hungry Hippo games. I'm putting them in C tier. Nitpicker. Hey look, it's me, B tier, but only because of the name. We have the Sparks, which I'm putting in A tier. I think these are a quintessential platformer enemy as it requires the player to always be cognizant and always jumping. A good way to keep you on your toes. Birds, zero creativity in the name, F tier. Greenhouse is a Game & Watch game starring none other than, you guessed it, Stanley. Is there a single Stanley fan out there? He kills bugs and he's a generic Mario wannabe with a punchable face, D tier. However, Stanley also appeared in Donkey Kong 3, which is why I'm even including this, which has a lot of bug enemies that he's trying to murder. So we're gonna do all of these in one rapid fire round. I'm putting Buzzbee, Bee-Spy, and the Super Bee in B tier purely for the pun. Creepy is going in D tier because we take a stand against perverts here. Vine Eaters literally kill nature, F tier. Attackers trick you by juking you out, which is pretty good enemy design, so I'll give them a B. Kabuto Mushi, also known as a beetle. You know what? The name took me so long to say, so C tier. Don't mess with me, man. Lastly, we have the butterflies, which I'm also just gonna put in C tier. I mean, I don't know, were you looking for a video on the history of butterflies? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Listen, if you want a video on the history of butterflies, go to like National Geographic or something. This is not the right place. Mario Bros. I swear this game is good. I mean, it gave us Luigi. I'm a big Luigi fan, and I'm giving him another S tier. While he might be a scaredy cat, I think that's what makes him such a likable character. And this adds some much needed personality to the franchise. Not to mention, he spawned his own side series with games that are mostly good, not that one. Sure, he's had some tragic moments, like the Year of Luigi, which was cool in concept, but yeah, Nintendo was kind of going under as a company. Also new to this game are the sidesteppers. I used to like these enemies, then I realized how often they got used in Mario Kart 8, and they're just sort of boring craps. Like, are you even in the Yoshi's Island game? I'm putting them in C tier, you'll survive. Shell creepers. No, they're not Koopas, they're shell creepers. Also putting this in C. You notice how most people don't even remember that these enemies exist? There's a reason. Fighter flies are the last enemy. They have kind of a funny pun, or at least, I think, being a parody of the Fireflies. Maybe not. I'll put them in B tier before I overthink it. This game also adds the Freezy, which I forgot to add until now. Do these even count as enemies? It's a freaking ice with eyes on it. Whatever, B. I don't know what to put for music here. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Imagine a drive home on an average summer day. Sometimes you might see a beautiful mountain range, a busy city, a cement factory even. But at the end of the day, you're a gear in the cog, an average Joe, just trying to make ends meet. So drivers get C, too bad. Alarm monkey. Okay, easy A. I mean, he's a monkey with an alarm. I want one. Buddies get a C tier. I know they're in war, but bombing people, that's not very cool of you. Heavy smoker gets an F tier. He throws his cigars into the oil, which causes explosions, but also smoking is bad for you, so F tier. This game only introduces Junior 2 with Roman numerals even. He's pink and he's cute, A tier. Wrecking Crew introduced us to 4-Man Spike. You look at this guy for 2 seconds and he just gives you a bad vibe. He was basically a Wario or Waluigi before they existed, but with no charm, so I think D tier is fair. Got a wrench? Okay, seriously, what the Eggplant Man. Why are all the enemies from this game from a drug-induced coma? I don't know, I mean, he's an eggplant man, so A, duh. Oh, it's this Super Mario Bros. Thing. It's a non-Game & Watch thing. Disgusting. So we're back to some classics here. Of course, I'm referring to none other than the Spiny. He's cute and a recurring mainstay in the franchise, but he is super annoying and not always the easiest to dodge. Not to mention, never really became a spin-off character like some of the enemies here, so I feel they're an aggressive B tier. Princess Peach. You know, there's a time I'd probably say B, but honestly, her appearance in the Super Mario movie that's coming out quite soon, honestly was super cool in the trailers and stuff, so I'm gonna move her to A purely based on that, because I feel like they moved her from more of a stereotype to a really unique character who honestly shows up Mario himself in that movie. I'm putting Bowser in A tier. Sure, it can get a bit boring always seeing him as the villain, however his hysterical roles in the Mario RPG games and even the upcoming movie makes him one of the best not only Mario characters but Nintendo characters as well. He's a bad villain, but that's part of the joke, and that's why I think this character works the way it does. Unfortunately, Toad is C tier. They're diaper-wearing babies, and for a while I would have said B tier was fair, now it became way too overused in all the Mario RPG games, making me sick to my stomach when I see them. Plus, it gets very aggravating being told the princess is in another castle. How about you go screw yourself? Blooper, he's so cute. C. Bullet Bills go in A. I love the fact that they serve both as platforms and a decent enemy. Then there are the Buzzy Beetles, basically Koopas that don't die to fireballs, which I think works as a decent game mechanic, especially considering progression. So at least B. Speaking of Koopas, I think their versatility, as in amount of colors, the elements, the shells introduced to game design, they're an easy A tier enemy in my eyes. I'll put the Paratroopas in the same tier, even though their shells are not as easy to grab, so I'll put them before the Koopas and pretend like that actually means anything in a tier list this big. I'm giving Hammer Brothers a C tier. C stands for classic, and that's the only reason they're even that high. Dodging the hammers, especially in the retro games with limited lives, is borderline unfair, especially when they're in groups. I'm giving Lakitu a B tier. They're annoying, but I think their role rescuing people in Mario Kart games is what makes them memorable at the end of the day, and mainly the only reason people care. I never thought much of Piranha Plant until they were brought to Smash, and now moving them to C tier. The way this triggered all the Smash fans was hysterical and quite possibly the best prank Sakurai ever pulled on the fan base. Finally, we have the Cheep Cheeps. I like how they mimic Mario's swim patterns, and they are a clever enemy, so I'll give them a B. I know, I'm feeling generous today. And of course, we have the Goombas of the Mario franchise. The Goombas, an all-time classic surely. I love how they probably started in this simple dorky form to accommodate the console being not very powerful, but they just kept the design anyways in HD. I think they're an A tier easy. Finally, we have the Lava Bubbles, fireballs with eyes. Now that doesn't make any sense. How wacky? B tier. The only character that Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels introduced was Bowser's brother. This is basically a color swap with a unique name. Yeah, you know, I don't really think this is lore. I'm pretty sure they didn't plan this. This is just some weird thing they added. D tier.